Good day everyone, so we're going to be doing a bit of a VOD review here. I'm on my alternative account, so this is not my main account, and hopefully you can get some tips or tricks or just some ideas as to how to approach the new Spiral Abyss. Obviously the new Spiral Abyss is kind of challenging for a lot of people, so let's just tackle it, but I'm going to tackle it almost in reverse. So basically, if you get all the way to the final floor, you're going to face the Iniquitous Baptist, and this is the pattern with him. He always starts off with a Cryo Shield, then a Hydro Shield, then a Pyro Shield. That means you can very easily almost precast some of your abilities and then sort of take him out very easily. Now at this point you might say, well, will I have enough time? Yes, it is certainly possible. If you can beat the first chamber, like with the Cryo Heralds and whatever, if you can beat that with a team, you can easily do this like final floor. And I know a lot of people might struggle with these Consecrated Beasts here in the background, but even if it takes you 2 minutes, you will still have, even after 2 minutes, more than enough time, as you can see here on the clock, to be able to beat the Iniquitous Baptist. The key thing behind all of this is just understanding how to play with your abilities. So let us do a bit of an in-depth review. So I'm going to go now to the first chamber on floor 12. We'll get to the Cryo Heralds in just a bit, but there's something very important that I want to emphasize. And that is that if you know how to layer your buffs and your abilities and where to position, clearing this first half is actually pretty easy, and that will mean that you will have more than enough time to beat the Cryo Heralds on the second half. Now, this is not supposed to be prescriptive, as in if you don't play the team I'm playing, it's bad, whatever. You can play whatever team you want. I just want to make you aware of a couple of tips and tricks, and just to make it just to highlight to you what the benefits are of stacking your buffs and how very painlessly it can make your Genshin Impact playing experience. So let's just get into it. I've got Yae Miko and Raiden Shogun here in a team, and the first thing I'm going to do is to pick the attack card buff. So immediately let's just think through this team. I've got Yae Miko and everyone and Raiden Shogun having an attack buff. I've got Raiden's E ability that increases elemental burst damage, and of course Raiden's resolve will also stack to get even more damage. So I obviously want to try and use my elemental burst to build her up. I've got Yao Yao that can activate Aggravate on the enemies, and I've got Sucrose that can reduce the enemy's resistance, share EM onto Raiden and Yae Miko, and hence obviously Yae is going to hit harder, but then Raiden will also hit harder through the Aggravate. And I've got Sucrose's Elemental Burst that's going to give me a 20% elemental damage bonus, or electro elemental bonus in this case, for Raiden and Yae Miko. And then obviously we can control them, crowd control them with Sucrose. It's just Sucrose is kind of amazing if you really think about all the things that's packed into her kit. But once you have all of these buffs that I've just mentioned with the 20% attack card, you'll find that it becomes kind of like butter. It's like you'll just cut through the enemy. So let me sort of show you. It's not whale artifacts. This is a C0 Yae and whatever. So hopefully you'll appreciate that nothing here is beyond what I think a normal player should be able to do. So look at that. You just absolutely cut through them, and that is because all those buffs, all those abilities were layered. We were positioned in the correct place. We timed our Yae burst right at the very moment before the last little totem went away. This is what I mean, and look at where I'm standing. I'm standing at the edge here, which draws in the enemy at the back, and what this means is that I can now set up, layer again all my buffs, decrease the opponent's resistance, use Yae's totem in conjunction with Raiden Shogun, and look at that. It's just so easy to take out these enemies. Remember, this is a C0 Yae and so on. It's not like we're using crazy artifacts, although I must admit the artifacts are pretty decent on Raiden and Yae. But you can see how through just cleverly positioning, through layering your buffs correctly, it's easy to not even take damage, but just to wipe out these waves. And I can promise you that through my playtesting and so on, the longest that it took me was like 8:50 here on the clock. 1 minute 50. That's more than enough for most people to be able to beat the second halves. And in any case, some of the YouTube showcases featuring other F2P players have shown me that 850 is, I think, a very, very good benchmark if you want to just sort of see if your damage is like kind of okay. If you don't reach that benchmark, you might struggle against a Consecrated Beast. So that would be a tip that I can give you. Right, so that is the first half out of the way. So what happens on the second half? Well, I don't have Thoma on this account, so I can't use him. I can't use Burgeon Thoma. I know a lot of people have said, but what about Burgeon Thoma? It's like, I'm sorry, I don't have him. I don't have a well-built Xiangling. I basically just have Klee. So that is what I have, and that's what we're just going to use. So there might be some tips and tricks. This might not be what you're going to run, but hopefully you'll just understand the logic of what we're trying to do. So we want to run back. We want to tag the enemies right now, and basically the reason is we can let them teleport here, which then allows us to then set up a bit easier, like set up more easily, for the next wave of enemies. You'll see in a bit. So we set up all our abilities right here. We're now going to hit them. We're going to stand here at a distance, because the moment we go too close to this little cryo enemy, you'll see here right at the bottom there is a little mark that appears, and unfortunately that means our Klee has been frozen, which is kind of bad news. If you're frozen, well, not frozen, if you've got cryo applied to you, you move slower, your abilities come out slower, the animations are slower, and that's not really a good thing. So that's kind of a misplay on my part, but that's generally what you don't want to do. You want to stay at a bit of a range. But in any case, so here we are with Klee, we iframe, we just elemental burst, and now we're just going to take care of the enemies normally. So I'll just play this at regular speed, and nothing here is crazy. So yeah, this is what we want to do, and then the next enemy is going to be here. We want to inflict pyro on him, and then just quickly use Yelan to do a bit of a vaporize. I didn't really get it off here, but you can see the Hydro guy's health has already been taken out, and the reason we want to take him out is because he is the biggest source of annoyance. He reduces our cooldowns, and he also leads to these other characters freezing us because he applies Hydro to our characters. By taking his health out here first, we can have him transform quickly, tag him here with Nahida, and obviously the Dendro will then eat into the Hydro Aura very, very quickly, and you can eliminate him before he gets too annoying on the field. So this is kind of the idea we've gone through. So this is why we positioned where we did in the beginning. So what we're now going to do is just something, this is just a little fun little trick I like doing. I would not recommend you do this, but we're going to spin and immediately press Nahida's Elemental Burst. If you do it right, you'll take no damage, but yeah, it's just a little fun thing. And yeah, now we're just going to sort of, you can see here, create some Dendro cores. This is where you'd use your Thoma for some Burgeon purposes and to give you a shield, which will make it just that much easier to play. For me, I just have one target, and that's this little Cryo Herald. I'm just going to let the sort of scene play out in the background. We just want to sort of reduce his health first, because obviously it'll make it easier, and then we can use Klee and her monstrous like pyro application to take care of the shields. Notice what I'm doing. I'm trying to sort of keep my distance from the enemy so I can see where they are. I can avoid their attacks. I don't get frozen up that easily. This is the idea with trying to beat these Cryo Heralds. If you don't have a shield that can help you, or you have, let's say, a Bennett or a Jean that can cleanse the status ill effects, you generally just want to keep your distance and just then sort of try and apply the elements from range. But as you can see so far, we've really taken care of the Hydro Aura on this enemy here, so he's almost about to be taken out. So that's like very, very good. There's a Burgeon, he's gone, and now we've got 2 Cryo enemies left, and it's just a simple case of using Klee, and obviously if you can, try and use Xingqiu or Yelan together with Klee, and then just take them out. That's just what it's going to be. So I'm just like fast forward here, you can see we're just hitting here with Klee, and then we're just finally going to sort of take care of him right here at the end. So that is what I wanted to share with you. I've done this on my alt account, got the 9 stars. It's not difficult, but it does require you to look at what available pyro units you have to make a plan. But most importantly, if you can finish the first halves quickly, you'll have more leeway on the second half. So that's it for this VOD review. I think in my next video, I'll do a bit of a little medley of pyro characters beating up the Cryo Heralds just for fun of it. But if you've been watching around, been sticking around for so long, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and I hope you can also get your 9 stars in this abyss. Cheers.